Why will Africa reach roughly 3.8 billion people by 2100? The answer lies in three forces: birth rates, delayed demographic transition, and urbanization. As of 2024, Africa's population stands at roughly 1.5 billion. By 2100, the UN's medium projection puts it at roughly 3.8 billion. This could rise to nearly 40% of the world's population. Why does this matter? This slide explains everything. First, sustained high birth rates. Sub-Saharan Africa remains at elevated levels, with Niger at roughly 6.7 children per woman, the highest in the world. This contrasts sharply with Europe's 1.5 and Japan's 1.20. Medical improvements have reduced infant mortality, yet birth rates remain stubbornly high. This accelerates population growth. Second, delayed demographic transition. Slow industrialization and urbanization perpetuate traditional high-fertility societies. Limited education levels and women's social participation keep birth rates elevated. Third, rapid urbanization. By 2050, urban populations will reach 60%. This represents a massive increase from the current 43%. As young workers concentrate in cities, opportunities for productivity gains emerge. Meanwhile, birth rates face long-term downward pressure. This is the path to 3.8 billion. This is a future projection by the UN Population Division. However, it's a projection, not a certainty. Uncertainty exists. Projections can swing higher or lower depending on how quickly birth rates decline. And this is understandable. The data makes it clear. Tracking birth and death rates reveals the pattern. Now you can understand Africa's population explosion. Today, let me show you that data. To understand population explosion, you need to know the demographic transition model. This model shows how societies shift their population patterns as they develop economically. Stage 1. High birth rates and high death rates balance out, keeping population stable. Medical care is underdeveloped, and infant mortality is high. Stage 2. Medical improvements reduce death rates, but birth rates remain high. This triggers population explosion. Stage 3. Industrialization and urbanization advance, and birth rates begin to decline. Women's education levels rise, and social participation increases. Stage 4. Low birth rates and low death rates balance out, stabilizing population once again. Europe and Japan are in Stage 4. China is in the later phase of Stage 3. But much of sub-Saharan Africa remains stuck in Stage 2. This opens the path to 3.8 billion. Niger's birth rate, roughly 6.7 children per woman. This remains the world's highest. Compare this to Europe's 1.5 and Japan's 1.20. This gap determines Africa's future. Why is it so high? First, limited access to education. Female literacy rates, for those 15 and older, hover around just 30%. Second, low female social participation. Traditional values honor high fertility. Third, medical improvements. Infant mortality has dropped from roughly 200 per 1,000 in the 1990s to roughly 50 per 1,000. Yet birth rates remain high. This combination produces a population growth rate of roughly 3.8% annually. At this rate, population doubles in 20 years. And this isn't just Niger. Many sub-Saharan African nations face similar conditions. By 2050, Africa's urban population will reach 60%. This is a massive increase from the current 43%. UN urban agglomeration projections show Lagos becoming a megacity of roughly 30 million. Kinshasa and Cairo will reach similar scales. This rivals Tokyo and New York. Urbanization creates opportunities for productivity gains. Young workers concentrate, and manufacturing and service industries could develop. But serious challenges emerge simultaneously. Housing shortages, inadequate water and sanitation infrastructure, and expanding slums. Among young people, unemployment, informal employment, and high NEET rates pose challenges. Is urbanization opportunity or crisis? The answer depends on how infrastructure and employment are prepared. When population grows, will there be enough food? The answer is extremely harsh. The Sahara Desert has expanded roughly 10% over the past century. It continues to erode agricultural land. Annual rainfall has decreased roughly 20% over the past 50 years. Drought frequency is increasing. Climate change and soil degradation create risks of severely reduced productivity in arable land. Major grain yields could face serious impacts. Meanwhile, population growth will double food demand by 2050. The risk of severe food shortages is rising. Soaring food prices trigger political instability. The international food price increases from 2010 to 2011 are considered one of the background factors that, alongside political factors in various countries, amplified social unrest. The combination of climate change and population growth is one of Africa's greatest threats. Africa's population explosion directly impacts Europe. Migration pressure from Africa to Europe continues to intensify. In the dangerous journey across the Mediterranean, over 3,000 people lost their lives in 2023. This is the worst level since 2017. Why do they migrate? First, youth unemployment and informal employment are severe. Stable jobs don't exist. Second, political instability. Conflict and civil war continue in many countries. Third, climate change. Agriculture collapses, and the foundation of livelihoods is lost. Meanwhile, Europe is aging. Labor shortages are severe. Wage gaps exceed tenfold. In 2024, the EU adopted a new migration pact. Border screening is being tightened. However, no fundamental solution has been reached. By 2050, this migration pressure will intensify further. This is one of the most critical geopolitical challenges of the 21st century. Roughly 3.8 billion represents a massive market. But that's not all. First, potential as a consumer market. The middle class expands, and purchasing power increases. Mobile phone subscriptions have reached roughly 80% of the population, and the digital economy is growing. Second, labor force. In 2050, Africa's median age will be 25. Europe will be 45, Japan 50. A young workforce could become the driving force of economic growth. But constraints exist. First, infrastructure deficits. Annual investment needs reach up to $170 billion, but a financing gap of up to $100 billion persists. Second, low education levels. Tertiary education enrollment remains below 15%. Highly skilled labor is scarce. Third, political instability. In fragility classifications, numerous countries are in conflict or fragile state status. Is roughly 3.8 billion an opportunity or a destabilizing force? The answer depends on policy and investment over the coming decades. Now, let's organize today's analysis. Here's today's summary. First, drivers of population explosion. Sub-Saharan Africa maintains elevated birth rates, with Niger at roughly 6.7 children per woman. Delayed demographic transition keeps nations in Stage 2, combining medical improvements with high birth rates. Urbanization rates surge from 43% to 60%, concentrating young workers in cities. Second, serious challenges. The Sahara Desert has expanded roughly 10% over the past century, and climate change and soil degradation create risks of severely reduced productivity in arable land. In the dangerous journey across the Mediterranean, over 3,000 people lost their lives in 2023, the worst level since 2017. Third, global impact. Roughly 3.8 billion creates a massive market and young workforce. However, infrastructure investment faces a financing gap of up to $100 billion annually. Numerous countries remain in fragile state status, presenting both opportunities and destabilizing forces to the world. If you were a policymaker, how would you guide the future of these roughly 3.8 billion people? Is population explosion opportunity or catastrophe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this analysis. Africa's population explosion is one of the most critical geopolitical shifts of the 21st century. This channel analyzes world events through the lens of geopolitics and economics. Data and logic deepen your understanding of the world. Subscribe to the channel, and let's explore the world's truths together next time. See you in the next deep dive.